Hi everybody, I hope everybody is having a good day. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not responsible if anybody gets hurt, it's just my opinion. Today I'm going to do a tarot reading about Robert F. Kennedy, that is John F. Kennedy's, I think, younger brother. He was born November 20th, 1925 to June 6th, 1965. He was a Scorpio, and his age was 42. God, he was young. 42, and I think he had a lot of kids too. I forget how many he had. All right, so I'm gonna. I know in the other video I did with John F. Kennedy, like I said, this is entertainment purposes only. I got a little mixed up about John F. Kennedy's was assassinated by Oswald, and that was kind of confusing because I'm just a beginner, and it said he had something to do with it, and it said partly he might have done it, but also it got me kind of confused. Maybe it's someone fired at the same time as him. Who knows? I'll probably make another video about that when I get better about John F. Kennedy, about his assassination again when I get better. Sorry if it wasn't more accurate. Sometimes that happens when you do tarot cards. So I'm gonna, and that might happen with Robert Kennedy too. So that's why I do try to do less than 27 minutes, because you can only do as much accuracy you can do. So like I said, okay, I'm gonna do a little bit about his life. Please tell me about his life. So I'm gonna do his past, and present and future. I'm gonna shuffle these cards. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. The past was the Empress. I don't know how you pronounce it. I have ADHD. But the Hierophonics. I'm probably saying it right. I'm gonna call him the Pope for me. The traditionist. He was into tradition. He was a traditionist man in the past. He was religious. He liked society and tried to follow the rules. He tried to forgive people that didn't agree with him, like the Republican Party. And he was very wisdom and trust people, and he was into mercy. Like he liked other people from other walks of life, and felt sorry for the underprivileged and people who didn't have enough stuff. He was for the poor and stuff, which was nice. With his relationships, he was taking your relationship to the next level, one step at a time. I guess he was a bachelor for a while, and then he got married, so he wanted to take one step. This is his. This is his present back then. This is the King of Cups, water sign in reversed. He had bad advice, emotions, a moodiness, inner feelings. He felt cold-hearted, and he got bad advice from the people around him, saying, "Oh, you should do it this way," and he wanted to do it. He had bad advisors. That's probably what happened to him. Yeah, he wanted to do, the people from his inner circle who were giving him bad advice. Brother, that sucks. And he could be very moody because he didn't like someone bossing him around. He wanted to do things his way, and his people around him were giving him bad advice, like say, "Oh, you should meet with this person or hang out with these people," or whatever. And he wanted to do it his way, and he got moody, and he got, defensive. In his present, love his imperfection. He had an imperfection marriage sometimes. Love his beautiful mess embrace. So he did have not the best marriage. He had problems sometimes with his marriage because a lot of times he was away, trying to be the president, was trying to be, he was speaking to people to run for presidency. Uh, this is the outcome. The outcome was the Page of Wands. He was a free spirit. He had great ideas. He wanted to help other people with great ideas like the civil rights movement. That I feel like he would have wanted to help women, finances, limited permutations. Like he wanted to help other people that were less fortunate. Like I said, the civil rights, the women's movement. He wanted to help other people. He was not a selfish person. He was and he wanted freedom to help other people, the minorities, blacks, Chinese, all races. He was he was a fearless person. He had a lot of different ideas, and he wanted to discover his own way. He didn't want to be his brother's, he loved his brother, but he wanted to be his own person. And he had dressing up. He liked to dress up when he goes to parties and full time ahead. And this one, I'm going to start to do this. The whale is adventure, opportunities to make loyal friends and family are your treasure. He thought of his family as a treasure. Oh, that's sweet. And he had a great he had a lot of confidence himself. He was hoping to be the next president of the United States. He wanted to follow his brother's footsteps, even though he had his own agenda and own ideas. Wow, that's great. All right, now I'm gonna do about was he let's go for his life. How did it go? Was he really killed by that crazy guy, or was it an inside job? With him being assassinated. I think it was 5 years later after his brother died. I think at 68 he died. So was he killed really by that I think he was a foreign guy, or was it the inside job with John F. Kennedy? Please let me know. All right. It says upright. The person who did it was creative, and had ideas. He pretended to be charming when he went into the place to see where John F. Kennedy was, and he thought he was a knight in shining armor. This person who did it, so. And he followed with his heart, yeah. And he had armor, he thought he was, the cat's meowing, thought he was great. This sounded like he did it for a cause. So that's a question. He was a knight in shining armor. So when I'm asking, it was someone who was in the military or something like that, or what's it called, fanatic, or somebody who was into their own thing, like a cult, or someone who was into something, their own military, a private military group, or terrorist group, or something like that. That's what it feels like to me. All right, it says this is upright. The Knights of Pentacles. This person was hardworking. He liked to follow routines. Go with the grain. He would get up, Maybe he would get up, exercise, take a shower, do his routine, go to work, or talk to people about what's going to happen to Robert Kennedy. And he was a very responsible person. Maybe he was higher up on the terrorist group or military group he belonged to. Maybe he was, and he was conservative, and he was a hard worker. And I think he was higher up on the poll. This is the emperor in reverse. This guy was domineering, controlling, lack of discipline, stubborn, reckless. This guy who did it was reckless. So he was higher up, but people didn't really respect him very much. And he was very domineering, kind of bossy. He was trying to tell people how to do things, and maybe he was being kicked out of the, I feel like he was, lack of discipline. I think he might have been kicked out of the terrorist group, and maybe he did it on his own or something. I'll look that up. And he was very stubborn, and he was reckless. They probably told him not to do this. I got a feeling they said not to do this because it's not gonna do any good. It's gonna be terrible. And then it says the three of wands in reverse. This person was playing small, lack of planning, lack of foresight, delays. So this person was planning a small thing, like he thought he could get away with it with a bunch of people in the room. He had a lack of foresight and lack of planning. He thought, oh, I can shoot John F. Kennedy and get away with it. So, yeah. So, and it was a delay because he shot him, and they said, who was it? But then there was delay of finding the person who shot him. Yeah, all right. So they said this person is creative. He's a romantic. So I'm gonna put two more cards. Was it? I'm gonna use these, and then they did say this person probably worked alone because he was a fanatic. He was in some group. Maybe it was him. Let me see. This guy was a fanatic. He belonged to some group, but then they might have kicked him out. Please let me know. 2 cards. Was this guy a lone person? Because it says he might have, but he did belong to a group. They might have kicked him out. Please let me know if he did it alone, or was he kicked out, or I'm going to actually use 3 cards because we have time. So did he do it alone, or did someone put him up to it, or please let me know did he do it? Did he do it alone? It says no, he didn't do it alone. I mean, he was up to, he did it, maybe there were other people involved. Yeah, I think other people involved. He thought it was a fair thing to do. This is the 5 of Swords. He thought it was very approachable to John F. Kennedy, the thing, because there was some security, but it wasn't tight like they are nowadays in '68. He thought it was fair what he was doing. He was moving forward, and he was going to salute to conflict. He was going to do it even if it would start conflict with, when he was going to shoot him. There would be conflict. People would want to know who this person was. So yeah, he was making he was making amends, but he said making amends to his brain. He probably was mentally ill. I'll look that up. And this is there was disharmony. He was upset with John F. Kennedy. He did not like him or what he stood for. He was, he didn't like him. It says he was working alone, a lack of commemoration. He had few goals. This guy had few goals. He might be mentally ill. I'll look that up. And this is a Hermit upright. This guy thought he was wisdom. He thought he was smart. He thought he was spiritual. He was a spiritual person. and he thought had patience go in there, and he was being cautious before he did it. All right, I'm gonna see. Was this guy playing with a full deck? Probably not, but I mean mentally. I know you had to be mentally sick to shoot someone, but did he have like schizophrenic or bipolar, or because back then I don't think they had. I don't know if they did or didn't. So was this guy? Obviously he's not playing with a full deck. No, but tell me, was he mentally ill in the sense of, did he have schizophrenia, bipolar, any borderline personality, a bunch of different kinds of illnesses? Let me know. 4 cards. Upright. He wished the thing would come true that this is the cups and 9 of cups in reverse. He was hoping that this was coming true, that John F. Kennedy would be dead by the end of his speech, and he was satisfied out of the income of his death, and he was emotional and he was happy and stable about it. This is entertainment purposes. I'm just reading the cards. And he thought he might become very famous. Sure did. The World, upright. Compassion. He was compassionate to his cause. And he was like I said, he accepted the outcome because he was a martyr, I guess. And he traveled a long way from where he was to see him, and he celebrated his life before he did this. Oh God, this guy was not very good. Doing it all. He was carrying out the burden. There was a burden, right? This is the one. He thought it was a burden that he should be around to be president. He didn't want him to be the president. He thought it was a burden for him to get, and he wanted to carry out, and he thought it was a burden for him to do this, but he would do it anyway. It was a burden for him. I think he was overstressed to do this, and he really didn't want to, but he had to do it and he also had burnout, thinking about doing this to Robert, and also upright. I mean, reverse. This is a creative block. He had creative ideas of what he was going to do to John. I think over the months prior to John's death, this person had creative blocks because he wasn't sure how he'd want to do it, and he was selfish about it and impatient. I think the people he was talking about were saying, oh yeah, right, you're going to really do it. And he had anxiety because he knew he'd have to get caught. And he was overwhelmed because he was scared of being caught and what some of the people would think about him, like his family and people he liked. So it said he did do it, and they didn't say he was mentally ill, but I think he was. I'm gonna do 3 more cards. I think he was mentally ill. Yeah. 3 cards, please. All right. It doesn't. When I read the yes and no card, it doesn't always mean that. It could mean other things. It says right now. Oops. It says. No, he didn't have mentally illness, but I always say there's a but because you never know what the cards say. It says emotional balance. His emotions at the time, he was like ready to go, and he was compassion to his cause, and he was a diplomat to his cause, and he thought he was in control of his destiny, what he was about to do. And then this is the tower upright. There was sudden change. There was when he did it. When the shot rang out, people were looking around, and he was running, and there was chaos when he did this, and there was disaster, awkwardness, release, sudden insight. He had insight that he did something, and it was going to be in the news, in the papers, on television. He had insight of this, and there was sudden change. Like he knew his life would change forever, and everybody involved in John F. Kennedy's life. He thought John's gone, and everything's changed in his life. And this is the Queen of Cups. He thought he was an inner feeling, self-care, self-love, codependency. All right, so he did have some codependencies. Maybe he did take some medicine. He loved himself. He took care of himself, I guess his health, but he did take take medicine. Maybe he took medicine for something like maybe he took medicine for something. I'm going to look up in some other time about it, maybe. I'll have to wait and see because I'm getting tired because this takes a lot out of you. Yeah, he had inner feelings about himself. He self-cared. I think he was very arrogant, this guy who did it. I think he was a narcissistic. He was crazy because he said he was insecurity about how the income would happen because he knew once he killed him, John F. Kennedy, or shot him, he didn't know what the income would be, and he was insecure. But he was codependent on medicine or something that was gonna, because once you start taking medicine or something. So I think he did take some kind of medicine, and I feel like he thinks wasn't medically crazy, but obviously he was to do that. And it was someone who was in some kind of he was in the military at one point, and he might have been kicked out. So who knows? So I think it was someone who was in the military, some kind of military. I don't know what kind, army or terrorist group or whatever, their own military. And he did want to do it, and he did do it. So he shot and killed John F. Kennedy, and he was glad about it. And he didn't think he was mentally ill. Obviously he was. I asked, was he? He thought he wasn't. I think he was, but the card said he doesn't think he was. And also, let me think. Yeah, he also thought he was doing the world a favor because he was like a martyr person, killing John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and he was doing the right thing, for his people and for his cause. So so that's what I read in the cards, that he did it. Some guy did it, and thought he was doing the right thing. Yeah, so like I said, this is entertainment purposes only. Until my next reading, take care and bye-bye.